Hello guys, welcome to All and Web Tutor presented by Profotech Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning Laravel Admin Panel Development Beginners tutorial and this is our part number 26. Inside this video session guys, we will learn about create faculty and save the created faculty to our database table. And also guys, if you're a beginner to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions to get the clear concept about Laravel Admin Panel Development tutorial. So back to browser. Now here we have a menu called faculty. Inside this menu we have a sub-menu called add faculty. So if I click on that, this is the form that so far we have developed and these are the values that we have populated as dynamic in our last video. So all we want to save all the details of these faculty while saving to our database table something called TBL faculties. This is what we have to achieve inside this video session. Along with saving all the data of faculty, also we have to save about the profile image. When we upload any image from our system, then we have to save this image to our TBL faculty. Something have a column called profile photo. Back to editor. Now inside this editor, we are currently using the route something called add faculty, and add faculty is using faculty controller and there is a method called add faculty. So if I open about faculty controller, this is our add faculty, and remember guys, inside this method actually we have called a resource file, and resource file is something add faculty.blade.php, and this is the file. So if I scroll down, here we have option called gender. Right now it is coming as a static value, so we want to populate these values dynamic from our database table. Remember, we have created a table for genders and this is our TBL genders, which basically have two values right now and their respective IDs. So back to editor. Inside our faculty controller, so let's import our model first. So use app and let's say models. We have something called gender and this is our gender model that we have developed. So scroll here inside add faculty. If I copy and paste this row, and let's say that this is instead of type, this is all about genders, and it contains about the gender model which has a status of 1. It means that active gender we are talking about. And finally get method. So if I copy this genders, pass inside this array, let's say genders, and finally it contains the variable something genders. So if I copy this variable, go to our HTML file, and inside that I'm going to remove all these things first, and let's say that if count, and this is a variable, and let's say that this genders contains the value. So in that condition, first of all let's close this if, and in that condition I'm going to populate all these values. So for each, let's say that genders as index, and let's say gender, and finally I'm going to close this int for each. Inside this for each loop, I'm going to populate all these values inside this option tag. So let's say that value, I have a value called gender ID. This is all about the ID. So if I copy this, pasting it here, and go to database table, table has called type. This is the type we want to populate. So all we need to, let's say type. So if I save this file, back to browser, reload this page, and now this is all about male and female. Only we need to make the first letter should be caps. So back to editor, and let's say that we want that first letter should be capital. So UC first is the PHP function. Paste inside this function. This function automatically converts the first letter to be capital, and as we can see, next we have to save all the data to our table. So back to editor, go to our form tag. Inside this form tag I'm going to add some of the parameters. So something method should be post. Let's say that action. Inside this action, let me define route, and this is something named routes, and something let's say sub save, and we have called faculty. And also because we are going to save profile photo means image from this form tag, so we want to include called ink type, and this is all about multi-part form data. This is what we have to add inside this form tag. And also by adding these parameters, also we have to add a CSRF token inside this form. So let's set that. CSRF field. All we have done about our front-end form. Only we need to handle these things from our faculty controller about the validation and about saving value. So if I copy this name parameter, so scroll here, this is save faculty, copy this, go to web.php, and I'm going to paste a line, and this should be the post request, means post method type, and let's say that save faculty. And also inside the same controller I'm going to make a method, something called save faculty, and all we have to change the name parameter. Now next we have to define this method, so just copy this method name, go to controller file, and let's say that public function, and this is our function name. Inside this function we have to pass called request, and this is request object. And here we have to change something called queue. Okay, so if I copy this request, and let's say that print r, and this is all about request and all method to see all the saved value. So if I save this file and also make die, go to our administrator panel, reload this page, and let's say that add faculty type, it should be non-teaching, let's say abcd at gmail.com, designation something dummy value, phone number something dummy value, the gender should be male, and I'm choosing a profile photo, and profile photo is something a dummy value. Let's say that address, it's dummy value, and status should be active. So if I click on submit, these are the values we are getting. So if I press Ctrl U, if I make a bit zoom to these data, so as we can see that this is our all the data we have submitted from the form, and this is all about the form photo. It means that profile photo. So by the help of these parameters we are going to save our data to our database table, something called TBL faculties. Okay, so just back to editor. Now inside this faculty controller I'm going to import the validator class to validate our values. So use, let's say, validator. This is what we have to do for our validation. So go to controller method, and I'm going to remove all these things, and let's say that validator equal to, let's say, validator make. Inside this make method we have to pass two arrays, first for the values and second for the rules. So inside this array what we have to require means what are those fields actually we want to be restricted before submission. So go to add faculty type, and let's say that we want to select first of all the faculty type, so DD type. So I'm going to copy and pasting it here. Let's say that this is all about faculty type, and the faculty type is something inside request, and this request contains DD type. Okay, so back to our HTML file again, scroll here. Next we have called faculty name. So if I copy this name parameter, something called faculty name, copy that, go to controller, I'm going to copy and paste this line. This is all about faculty name, this is our value. Again we have to HTML file, faculty email we want to be restrict. So this is faculty email, go to HTML file, scroll down, designation, obviously we want for the designation of each faculty from our school, and this is all about faculty designation. Next we have to copy about the faculty phone number, this is also a mandatory field, so copy, pasting it here, go to HTML file, and the gender is okay. Next we have to call profile photo, and finally we have to address. So copy this address, and I'm going to pasting it here. So basically guys, these are the fields that we want to be required before submitting form, and I'm going to, these are the values what we got from the form, and now I'm going to apply the form rules according to these fields. Let's say that faculty type, and this faculty type is something required. Next, what we have to make faculty name. This should also be required. Next, we have called faculty email. So I'm going to copy and pasting it here. And remember, faculty email should be unique all over the table for the faculties. So if you go to this table, it contains the column called email. So if I copy this email column name and go here, and let's say that this is email. So if I write email, this is also required and it should be unique. So let's say that unique all over the table for the TBL faculties. So if I copy this table name and pasting it here, finally we have to make the faculty designation. So again, if I copy and paste this line, this is all about faculty designation, so get rid of that. Next, we have called faculty phone number. This is all about faculty phone number, it should be required. And finally, we have called faculty address, so it should be also required. So this is all about the validation what we have applied to our form fields. Now next, let's say that validator, so copy this variable name, go here, and let's say that if validator fails, it means that we have some errors. So and else, it means that we have successfully passed our form data. In this condition, we have to return redirect with errors. So let's say with errors. And finally, inside this with errors, let's say that validator, and finally let's say with input. And inside this, it means that we have successfully passed form validations. Inside this redirect, we have to pass the same route actually what we got inside this add faculty. So if I copy this route name, go here, and I'm going to pasting it here. Finally, inside this HTML file, while getting all these form errors, we need to print all the form errors or successful message at the top of this form. So if I go to any of the HTML file what we have done so far, so this is the code. So I'm going to copy this code from this HTML file and pasting inside this add faculty. This is the code about showing all error messages of our form data. Next, go to controller file. Inside this controller file, inside this else condition block, means else block, let's say that this is all about the faculty object, and let's say that this is called faculty. And by the help of this faculty object, we are going to save our values. So this is faculty. All we have to go to structure. First is faculty type ID. So let's say that faculty type ID, and also this faculty type ID should be something called this is the value. So if I copy that and pasting it here, again if I copy and paste this line, all we have the second column something called name, copy, pasting it here, and the values we have something called faculty name. So copy this value name, pasting it here, again copy and paste. Next we have called email. So if I copy this email, go here, pasting it here, what we have as a column name something called faculty email. So copy, paste. Next we have called designation. So copy, paste. Next go at the top, and this is the value for the faculty designation. So I am pasting it here. Again copy this phone number as a column. Let's say phone number. Phone number we are getting inside the value called faculty underscore phone. So copy, paste. Next we have column something, let's say that gender ID. So copy this gender ID, pasting it here, and we are getting our gender ID inside a variable. So if I scroll here, and this is about dd underscore gender. So copy that, go here, and I'm going to pasting it here. Next we have the column something called profile photo. So if I copy this address, let's say that this is the block to save profile photo. Now I'm going to left. So let's say that this is all about, so if I copy this line, and let's say that this is about address, so copy that, pasting it here, and we are getting address inside this faculty address. So copy that, and I'm going to pasting it here. And finally we have to save the faculty, and this is our save method. So finally we are saving all the data to our faculties table. So if I go our previous controller as for the reference, and this is faculty type controller, scroll down, these are the two lines I'm going to copy and pasting inside our faculty controller. This is all about the message and redirection. So let's say faculty has been created, and all we have to redirect after saving the data inside this add faculty. So copy that and replace with all these things. So all we have done now, only the thing is that we have to provide a profile photo while collecting the data. If you go to browser, we have to collect the data, something called profile photo, something called faculty photo. Now I'm going to save the profile photo to our table. So let's say that, so first of all, let's say valid images. It means that what images actually we are accepting from our form, means what are the valid extensions. So let's say first of all PNG, let's say JPG, something, let's also offer about the GIF, and also let's say JPEG. These are the valid formats we are accepting from our form to save the profile photo. Next we have to check that the value we are getting from this form is valid according to these rules or not. Let's say that if, inside this if, first of all we have to check that this request has a file or not. So for that we are going to use called has file. Inside this has file, if we back to browser, this is our faculty photo. So copy this key and pasting it here. We are checking that this faculty photo has any file submitted or not. Inside next we are checking about the extension. So let's say in array we have, let's say that request, copy that, pasting it here, copy this faculty photo, also pasting it here, and let's say that extension. By finding the extension of our faculty photo, we need to compare the value that we have provided, something called valid images. It means that we are checking about our faculty photo extension with our provided array, what we have seen here. So now next, inside this F block, it means that we have a faculty photo and it has validated about the extension also. And I think that we have a silly mistake. So if I scroll here, this is not extension property, this is extension as a method. So back here, all we have done now, we have collected the file from form successfully. Let's say that image, and this is all about request, and it has a property called faculty photo. Now we have collected our image. Now I'm going to rename this file name. It means that what we got inside this array, and this is something called path name, and the file name, this is temporary file name. So I'm going to rename and make it as what we actually want as a file name. So let's say that file name equal to, I'm going to concatenate our file name with the time parameter. This will give the timestamp of the uploaded photo date time. So after getting this timestamp, we need to concatenate with, let's say that image, and image is a property, something called get client original name, means this is the name of the uploaded file, but we are actually concatenating this value with our timestamp. Okay, and finally I'm going to move this image, let's say image, I'm going to move to our resources folder. So let's say move, and here let's say resource, inside assets, let's say images, and inside this images, let's say that this is all about faculty. Inside this faculty, this is the file name that we need to place inside this folder. So I'm going to pasting it here. So successfully we have removed that, and finally we have to store about the file name to actually save inside our database table. So let's say that uploaded image name, and this is all about, so if I copy all these things, pasting it here, this is actually what we have to save to our database table. So if I copy this, and let's say that request, or let's say faculty, this is a faculty object we have created, and inside this faculty object we have a key inside our table, something called profile photo. So copy this key, pasting it here, and let's say that this contains the value of our uploaded image. So I'm going to pasting it here. So all we have done now, we have checked the file extensions and also we have renamed our file. We have successfully moved that file and saving to our database field. So if I save this file, go to our administrator panel, reload this page or back to our add faculty. Let's say that inside here, choose a faculty type. So it should be, let's say, game teacher. Let's say that teacher 1. Teacher1 at gmail.com. Designation, let's say that this is all about game teacher. Scroll here. Let's say that phone number, something dummy value. Mail, and let me choose a profile photo, and this is something profile photo. Let's say that this is, scroll down, and let's say that dummy address. Status should be active, and I'm going to save this file. So if I click on submit, and we have some error, let me check that. This is the error we are getting at line number 85. So back to editor, and if I go at line number 85, and this is something here. So we are getting obviously inside this value, but actually this is the object we have created. Okay, because actually I think that this is the wrong and all about this is the object. So this is the spelling error, so that's why we are getting the empty object error. So if I save this file, again go to this file, reload this page, press continue, and faculty has been created. So back to our table, go to browse section, and if I, let's say that sort by descending order, and we have successfully saved our data inside ID. This is our 51, all the details we have saved, and also here is our profile photo. So how can we find inside our folder structure? So back to folder. Inside this folder structure, inside this public folder, if I clicking on that, inside this public, here is the folder that we have created called resource. Inside this resource, this is the assets. Inside these assets, images, and finally faculty, and this is our faculty. And I think that guys, we have also a mistake here while uploading this image. So back to editor, and if I scroll down, this is all about the code of uploading profile photo. This is our move. So inside this function, I think that we are actually done some mistake. So back here, okay, this is not about the concatenating dot operator, this is about comma. Actually this is the mistake. So save this file again, back here again, let's create a faculty. Let's say that this is only about the physics teacher. Let's say teacher 2. Let's say that teacher 1. Instead of that, let's say teacher 2 at gmail.com. Next to fields, let's say that this is a dummy value, and next about the phone number, something the dummy value, mail is okay. Next we have to upload the profile photo, and let's say that this is the profile photo we are going to upload, and let's say that this is dummy address, and status should be active. So if I press on submit button, we have successfully uploaded. So back to folder structure. Once we refresh our folder structure, and this is the image what we have uploaded inside our faculty folder. So this is what we got. So if I again reload this page and click on submit button without submitting any fields, so these are the form errors. So successfully guys, by the help of this video session, actually we understood about how can we save data and also about the uploading image. So in our next video session guys, we will save about something called all the sections we have completed inside this faculty. Next we have to achieve about add student. So inside this video session guys, if you have any doubt, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day.